89.9 KMOJ, the People Station, Twin Cities. It's 2 o'clock near the KMOJ studios. I'm Glam Life Kim, and we have a very special edition of Minneapolis 360 today. Aaliyah Grant, it is always good to see you, sis.
It's so good to see you, too. What a special show we have today.
Yes, and we on the time clock, so we're going to have to get straight into it, huh?
We sure are.
So what's happening today? We're going to begin with a special guest?
We have a really special guest. There's a lot going on in the city, and so Mayor Frey has been out and talking to different communities, and today we have him on the show on Minneapolis 360 to address the community about what's been going on in the city.
Hey, Mayor Frey, welcome.
Hey, you all. How you doing there? You hanging in?
We are hanging in. That's doing the best we can do, right?
That's all we can do.
Right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And Mayor Frey, we're really happy to have you here today and really appreciate your time. So a lot of it's happening in the community and people have a lot of questions, especially for their neighbors. And what's your message to immigrant families who are feeling afraid right now?
Well, you're right. Right now we have a whole lot of people that are afraid to leave their homes. We've got people that are afraid to send their kids to school. Many are unable to work. Businesses are struggling. And at the same time, I want everybody to know, especially our immigrant communities, to know that you're our family. Mm-hmm. You're our neighbors. You are part of Minneapolis. You make our city a better place, and we will not back down. We're going to stand up for you. And you've seen it in the streets. You've seen people organize food drives, help to escort somebody to get to their car or to get to their job. You have seen this beautiful resilience and persistence from so many people throughout our city. And so I've been saying, look, it's not just about resistance, not just about resisting Donald Trump. In Minneapolis, it's about something far more powerful, which is love.
Our community coming together.
That's right.
Absolutely. Minneapolis is showing up. I keep getting messages from my friends all across the country who are just so impressed by how the community is showing up for their neighbors. And while we're standing, how is the city standing with our cultural and immigrant communities during these difficult times outside of what the community is doing?
That's right. Well, right now, our small business team has organized free legal help for small businesses with questions about immigration and dealing with ICE. We filed a lawsuit with the Attorney General's office in the city of St. Paul. We're trying to stop the Trump administration from some of these unconstitutional attacks on our neighbors. I signed an executive order to prevent ICE from using city parking lots. We're monitoring protests, and we've stood up an emergency management response so that we can make sure there's strong communication protocols that are underway. And we are doing a ton of work even with our community service officers to make sure that food is delivered to families that are otherwise afraid to leave their home. And so those are just a few examples of the work that's underway. From Know Your Rights campaign to legal assistance, we want to do everything possible to help. And at the same time, it's not enough. We've got to be doing more.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I think that it's just great that you are letting the community know what you are doing, because I think that's the question, right? People don't they're not
sure what is happening and what is going on. Mm-hmm. And the city has even set aside special funding for legal aid for the immigrant community, correct?
We have. We've got assistance to make sure that people get due process. We've got a Know Your Rights campaign so people understand what their rights are when an ICE agent might come to ask for additional documentation or might say that they want entry into a business or into a home. And we're working with a number of community groups and government partners to spread the message that we're not going to fall for President Donald Trump's trap.
So we're
not going to count. Yeah.
There's a corporate effort that's going on with city, federal governments, along with community efforts together, partnering.
We're all partnering together, and the mentality is we're not going to counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. We're going to grin down the bear and stand tall and peacefully protest and express First Amendment rights. And at the same time, and I've seen this from people, we're not going to take the bait because they seem to be the Trump administration seems to be looking for an excuse to come into our city with greater militarized force, and we all know that won't work. And by the way, we have worked with the federal government when this is about safety. We have worked with in the North Side, for instance. I mean, we've seen it. We worked at the U.S. Attorney's Office and a number of different agencies, and we arrested perpetrators of violent crime, and we drove down crime. Shootings right now on the North Side are the lowest that they have been on record.
Awesome.
On record. And so when it's about safety, we partner. But this is not about safety. I don't even think this is about immigration. I think this is weird political retribution that's taking place. And
against our city in particular?
Against our city and our state. And you don't need to take my word for it. They're literally saying that this is about political retribution. And this is not what you do in America. In America, you don't weaponize the Department of Justice to go against your political adversaries. You don't invade cities with the kind of influx of these agents that's causing chaos on our streets. If people are looking to cause calm and create calm, if they're looking, the federal government's looking to create calm, there's a very straightforward antidote here, which is have ICE leave. Have ICE leave. And they're largely causing some of the problems that we've seen.
And Mayor, do you want to touch on really quick what you have been doing in the city and along with the governor with the lawsuit? Can you explain that to the viewers?
Yeah, we have a lawsuit that's underway right now. We are hoping to get a hearing very soon. And the ask is pretty straightforward, which is that our city has been put under significant pressure, and resources are being stretched further and further because of this occupation and operation that ICE is conducting. Our police officers have done an extraordinary amount of overtime. Our offices have been stretched, and we want to make sure that we're able to get to the business that we are required to do as a city. We do the basic stuff in a city. We pick up the trash. We do the recycling. We've been doing that, and we'll continue to do that with great care. And at the same time, we can do it a whole lot easier if we didn't simultaneously need to deal with all of these constitutional violations that we're seeing taking place on our streets.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And how can people get involved or share their concerns with the city? Because as you said, the police force seems to be overwhelmed and everyone's doing double duty right now. So how can we get involved? Exactly.
Well, support each other. Continue doing that. Be a good neighbor. Check in on people. Help them get what they need. And then also call 311 if you need resources and tell us what's going on, and we're going to see how we can help. If you protest peacefully and responsibly. Again, President Trump wants chaos, and we don't want to give it to him. And there's also, here's another, just an easy ask. There are several small and local businesses and organizations who need your help and need your resources. And whether that's heading over to East Lake Street and buying some food, or that's helping an organization that's providing meal trains. Step up to help, and so many people, tens of thousands of people, are doing exactly that, and it is inspiring.
And especially supporting immigrant businesses right now that are extremely suffering a lot under these conditions that are happening in the city right now.
They're closing their businesses.
Absolutely.
Aren't able to eat.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
And what should families do if they see immigration enforcement in their neighborhoods? Because it's happening everywhere around the city. Even today, I was driving my daughter to school, and ICE was all up Penn Avenue.
Wow.
Well, look, first off, call 911 right away if you see someone with a gun and they're not wearing anything that identifies them as law enforcement. Call 911 if you hear gunshots, or if someone's firing a gun, or if someone's being assaulted, or if a person's being taken by force into an unmarked vehicle. Call 911. And also 311 is a great tool. If you see an unmarked vehicle without front or rear license plates, you can report it to 311. And so we want to make sure that we're documenting as much as possible. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and having that additional transparency could quite literally save lives and at the very least get some justice.
Good deal.
Absolutely. And Mayor Frey, there's a lot of concerns with families in the city, obviously, when it comes to calling 911 and utilizing services like the police. So how can people still trust city services and 911 without fear, feeling a peace of mind, being able to call the police to show up to help them?
Yes, we have a separation ordinance in the city, and what that says is that our police will not cooperate with any federal agency, ICE or otherwise, on immigration enforcement work. So again, we will not work with them on immigration enforcement work. If there's emergency, call 911.
Okay.
Our police they're concerned with your safety. That is their job, your safety, not immigration status.
Perfect. So neighbors can feel a sense of peace and calm knowing that they can call 911 and our police forces aren't going to collaborate with federal forces that are in the city right now.
That's right.
Absolutely. And there's a couple things that we wanted to talk about a little bit too, because last week, just a week ago today, we did have ICE over on the north side, and one of our Venezuelan neighbors were actually shot, and there was a black family that were coming home in their minivan, and they were flash bombed, and the car filled with smoke, and it brought a lot of instability in the neighborhood and a lot of fear with pepper spraying. And can you just speak to our communities and just tell them how they can stay safe? What is the city doing? What steps are in place for residents to feel protected in these situations?
Mm-hmm. Good question.
Yeah, it's a great question. So we have a number of pieces that are in place. A big one is making sure that our police officers know, again, our police officers will not coordinate with ICE or any federal agency around immigration enforcement work. Also, we want to make sure that people are getting the resources that they need and that all this information is being documented. We do not want to cause violence to one another or create a problem from the very beginning. And so, we're working with a number of different community groups and government partners to spread the messages that we're not going to fall for Donald Trump's trap. He wants chaos, and we're not going to give it to him. So my message to the people of our city is pretty simple, which is do not take the bait. They want an excuse to come in with additional militarized force, and we're not going to give it to them.
Yep. I agree.
Absolutely.
I know we're running across the clock. We got about 2 minutes left. But Mayor, is there anything that you really need the community know that you need to, them to stand on and how you need them to help to make sure that we try to, get through this together? Yeah.
Well, what I'll say is, I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, the tactics that ICE agents are using are dangerous. Mm-hmm. And they're more likely to cause more harm and chaos than they are to de-escalate tensions. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned this before, the threshold to use tear gas or pepper spray should be incredibly high. And the rate at which ICE is using those tools is unacceptable. For them to deploy these flashbangs or gas canisters without even knowing where they're throwing them is reckless and threatening, and we can't have that. And we don't want our children to be collateral damage.
Absolutely.
In these situations that, are preventable. And so, of course, we're asking ICE agents to leave. Of course, we've got this lawsuit to ensure that they do so. And we've got our first responders from fire department to Minneapolis police that are working tirelessly to keep our city safe. And I would just end by saying thank you. I am just so inspired by the countless people of our city that are standing up for one another with the kind of courage and conviction and love that makes Minneapolis, Minneapolis. We are a city that is tough and resilient. We're showing that off to the whole world right now. Let's stay strong. We got you.
Yeah, it's been very, very inspirational to see how the city is standing up. Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate your time, Mayor Frey. We know you got things to do, but it was very important that you come on the show and just let the community know where you stand and how we all need to work together. Anything else, Aaliyah, that you want to make sure before we wrap up with the mayor?
Yeah, thank you again for coming. I think this brought a lot of insight to the community and answered a lot of questions that people are having. So we really do appreciate you stopping by.
Proud to be on with you all. Keep going.
Awesome. Thank you. Next time you have to come in the studio.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
We'd love to have you here.
I'd love to come.
All right, love. Have a good day.
Have a great day.
All right. Well, that was Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey.
Absolutely.
So what
on the mic.
On the mic. So what do you take from all of that, Ali? I know it was a lot. We had 15 minutes to try to get everything in. And community, sorry if we couldn't answer some of the questions that you guys may have. But again, you can always call 311.
Yeah, call 311. And again, remember, we did a show last week about knowing your rights. And I just think that was such an important show that almost seemed like divine timing with what ended up happening last week.
It was our first show of the year.
First show of the year, my first time on the show hosting.
Yeah.
And then that evening, we had a situation with ICE being right in North Minneapolis. And so I think it was just such a good reminder that this is not just impacting certain communities. We are one community together. And so our neighbors are a part of this community, and we had a Venezuelan man shot, and also a Black family, 6 children coming back from a basketball game, And so I think it was just really important in that moment to really empower community of what their rights are, how they stand for their neighbors, because what's happening to someone is eventually it all ends up affecting all of us,
it does.
So I think there are still a lot of people in community with a lot of questions of what's happening in the city and what local government is doing. And it's hard to answer all of those questions in just 15 minutes. But hopefully that gave the community some good information. And especially there is power in numbers and power in each other. And just moving back to even if I can get biblical for a minute, of who is your neighbor, and that story of the Good Samaritan is so important. And you see people that kept walking by on the side of the road that didn't help him. And it was that Samaritan that helped this man. The priest didn't stop, other religious leaders, and it was just someone who was his neighbor. And Jesus asked that question. So who is really your neighbor? Is it the Samaritan that you discriminate against? And these other people didn't show up for you, but look who showed up for you. And I just think that's so important of how we move in these days of who is a part of us, who is community, who do we belong to, and learning to belong to each other in this time.
That's good. That's good. And so, you know what? I do think that we should just make sure, again, that people know their rights if ICE comes to their home. So everyone has constitutional protections, regardless of their immigration status. So before opening your door to ICE, know your rights is recommended by the Immigrant Law Center. Remember to assert them calmly and safely. And they suggest that ICE needs a judge-signed warrant with your name and address in order to enter. So you don't have to open the door until you see that through the window.
Absolutely. And the City of Minneapolis website has this, and there should even be some photos of what these warrants look like. So if you are unsure, you can go look on these websites, print up what those warrants should look like, hand them out, hang them in your house. So if you ask to see that warrant, you feel confident that it actually is the warrant from the federal government.
And then also just reporting suspicious vehicles, right? You can report a suspicious vehicle that's on your street. If you see an unmarked vehicle without front and rear license plates, then report it to 311.
Absolutely, because they've been everywhere, and they're changing up the cars that they're using. They'll go from one to the next. And so if you see these vehicles there with no license plates or license plates not from Minnesota, make sure that you are reporting these things, especially if there are no license plates on them.
Right. And another thing is just recognizing Minneapolis employee uniforms, right? Because with multiple federal agencies in town, you got to be familiar with the uniforms that's worn by the City of Minneapolis employees.
And it can become
your city. Right?
Exactly, because it can be very confusing with we have ICE, we have the Border Patrol and so knowing how to recognize city and state uniforms is very important. And there's also information on the City of Minneapolis website that give you pictures of
Yeah.
what the badges look like, what uniforms look like, so you can correctly identify who these officers are.
Right. And look, nobody in a city uniform will ever ask for your immigration status or participate with any federal immigration enforcement activity in which the mayor just mentioned that. So
Absolutely.
they don't wear masks to hide their identity or nothing like that. So if
They're
if something
easily
seems suspicious,
identifiable by all means.
wow. So, I mean, it's a lot to take in, and it's definitely a lot that, we as a city have to deal with. Like, and don't get me wrong, it's happening all over the world, but, it's so close to home for us.
Absolutely. And we have an influx. Like, using the word invasion actually is true. Like, we have almost 3,000 ICE agents. And think about the population of Minneapolis is 400 some thousand. And then we have the surrounding suburbs that they're at. And it's very disproportional, especially considering you think about the other cities that they were in, Los Angeles, Chicago. They had less agents in LA than they have in Minneapolis.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
I never thought I would see this day. I got to be honest. I never thought I would see this day.
It's here.
It is
here.
Here. Well, I think that was a great show. I'm so glad that you guys, took the day to say, hey, we are in a state of emergency and we definitely need to have this conversation now.
Absolutely.
Like, we need to hear from the mayor. Our city, Minneapolis, right here on the north side. And don't get me wrong, we got a lot of St. Paulians
absolutely. Them too.
that are listening, right? But we definitely just needed to know this information. And we just want to hear him. We want to know that, what he is doing. And so
exactly.
I feel like I have a better idea.
Better understanding of what's going on, because there's so much, things are moving so fast. It feels like, like one day you hear a certain amount of information and then you hear different information, and the city is doing their best to keep up with how things are changing moment by moment. And so it's really important that we keep updating the information and making sure people have accurate information, because we're living in times where what was true yesterday might not be true today.
Very true.
And so being up to date on that information as it's going is so important. Just like we mentioned last week, the city is plugged in on social media, on Twitter, X now, sorry. I'm aging myself. On X, on TikTok, Facebook, people can go look at the city, their social media pages to know what's going on, to have up-to-date, accurate information.
Absolutely.
Because I think we would hope that things would begin to slow down, but as it's been said, it does seem like the president is focusing on our city, and he really is wanting to invoke this Insurrection Act. And he's
a bully. He's just waiting on us
He is, and he loves a show.
Yeah, and he wants us to show up with him. So
because he knows we will pop it off. And, I want to say that I'm proud of the city, the community, how they have been stepping up and not taking that bait. And it's hard when you see so much injustice and you want to respond, but the city has been showing up in a beautiful way, the community, to help their neighbors, feed their neighbors, protect their neighbors, give the children rides to school when their parents feel unsafe, and I think that's what is most beautiful about Minneapolis.
Absolutely.
And he might want a pop-off show to bring the military in here, but we're showing him the beauty of this city and who we are as a community.
Exactly. Well, that's an amazing thing. I know that there's some other great things that's happening in the city, of course. So today, actually, until 4 o'clock, Helen Keller International Minnesota Vision Program is partnering with Human Partnership and the Northside Urban Coalition.
Yay.
And
it's so good. Yeah,
they're
so
providing
good.
Vision screenings and prescription eyeglasses at no cost for community members.
That is amazing.
It's amazing. So you see how we're still coming together in light of everything. You may not have medical or or vision. And so
Exactly.
this is an opportunity to get your eyes checked and
Those
to
eyes
get
checked.
and to get glasses if you need. Like, that is amazing. So it's happening today from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Harold Mizal North Community YMCA, which is located at 1711 West Broadway in Minneapolis. And
A community staple on the north side.
love the YMCA, the North Side YMCA.
Absolutely.
Registration is required, you guys, though. Clarence Jones is your contact, and you can give him a call at 612-759-2170. And I'll repeat that again. So if you need to go grab your pen, your pencil, that number is 612-759-2170. Or you can feel free to give them an email. The email is Clarence, CLARENCE, Jones, 7428@gmail.com.
And then I think the community can call him with questions like, is there a income limit for this service?
It's not.
Oh, that's amazing.
Anybody can go. And so that's why it's really, just super amazing.
Yeah, because some people have insurance, but still these extras are a lot for them. So getting those glasses, those contacts, that eye exam you've been putting off, squinting while you're driving, this is the time.
Guilty.
See, Miss Kim.
Right.
Exactly. So this is the time to go in and get your eyes checked.
Yes, let's do it. So you know what, sis? We had KMOJ's 13th annual Soul Bowl.
Oh, how'd it go?
Oh my God, on Monday, MLK Day. And it was beautiful. I mean, it's always a great time, but people
Extra special.
Extra special. People showed up. Walter Q. Bear Banks was on the mic.
The legend.
The legend.
The man, the myth.
KMOJ's legacy.
Absolutely.
There is no KMOJ without Walter Q. Bear Banks.
That is very true.
Yeah, so it was a beautiful time. And so we just want to thank everybody again who came out, who supported, because it is a fundraiser for the radio station. And, we have our forever home.
Right here.
Yeah, which is we're working on building it. We got our land right on Lowry and Penn, and so pretty much Lowry and Penn. And so, yes, it's almost that time. So we definitely need to continue. If you guys haven't had a chance to support KMOJ's Forever Home, go on our website and you can donate.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think this is a good time because KMOJ has showed up for the community all of these years. And so it's a good time for everyone to show that gratitude and appreciation to say, I'm going to give back to you for all that you've been giving to us. It's so important to give back. And we take it for granted. We just think, KMOJ's here, KMOJ. And
always be here.
Exactly. And we don't think about everything that goes into running the station and just those moments to say, here, we appreciate all the work that has been done.
But we got to say thank you to you guys as well, because we would not be here without you all.
Absolutely.
Like, you guys help, it's a community station, so you help keep us alive. And so, hey, even Minneapolis 360 is instrumental in making sure that we stay right here on the north side. So
absolutely. And we don't want KMOJ going anywhere else.
That part.
And to have a building when so many things are digital right now, it is actually special to have a building that's in the community, part of the community, outside of, I'm just doing this from my home, or we're doing this digitally, like satellite, how things are today.
Right. Well, and it's going to be super nice and huge. This place is small, right? And so, the community will actually be able to come and enjoy. We'll be able to do live performances, and it's going to be amazing. I'm just super excited for it. It's going to be lit, girl.
It's going to be lit. I can't wait. Yes. I can't wait.
Well, thank you again, sis. We appreciate you for, again, making this happen, spur of the moment, because this information is important and we definitely wanted the city to know. Anything else you want to let them? Well,
I actually want to give a shout out to KMOJ for letting this happen and making it work, because there was a lot of back and forth. It was so last minute, and we know you guys have contractual responsibility, obligations. And so I just want to give a shout out to all of you for being here today and everyone behind the scenes that worked so hard to allow this happen so the mayor could speak to the community. So big ups to KMOJ.
That's beautiful. Thank you, sis.
You're welcome.
All right, y'all. Well, we're going to get back into the music. Up next, we've got Mariah Scientist with Burning Blue. That's one of my favorite songs.
My daughter loves her. I got her a record for her birthday.
An
album, actual vinyl.
We're going to do karaoke in the studio. All right, y'all.